Welcome to the Complete Knockout podcast show, the MMA show where we talk all things MMA related, whether it has to do with the UFC, Bellator, whether it has to do with Muay Thai, wrestling, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, or anything of the sort, any news, gossip, fight announcement, fight analysis, you can make sure we cover here on the Complete Knockout. And in today's episode, we have some really cool things to talk about. So this is the Tuesday show. The Tuesday show is where we choose not to do a lot of the in-depth analysis specifically on fighters or specifically on matches, but we talk about controversial topics and we talk about things that, we bring the questions up that nobody wants to talk about, the tough questions that not a lot of people have the answer to, but we are looking forward to bringing them up in today's episode. And before we continue, I just want to ask you guys, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. If you enjoy it, stick around. Let us know. Leave a comment if you hate it. What can we improve on? And lastly, add your input to the topics that we're going to cover on today's episode. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. With the first topic, we're going to pop off. This topic, I'm going to give a shout out to Frankie NYC of Sherdog Forums and also the MMA Community Forums. Frankie needs no introduction. He is well known, well versed in the sport of mixed martial arts. He is a very respected journalist. He is the one with all the information, and he is the one who provided me with this kind of topic that I'm going to cover right now, which is the current pay-per-view model, or should I say, is the current pay-per-view presentation of the UFC stale? Now, before I really get into what my opinion is, and before I really get into the nitty-gritty of what I want to talk about, I just want to present you a quick pay-per-view number from UFC 228, which, let me refresh your memory if you don't forget. If you forgot, that was Tyron Woodley defending his welterweight championship against Darren Till. A few factors there. One, it was a title fight. Two, it had Darren Till, who was hyped to be the next superstar in the UFC, the next big name, and was hopefully the guy to dethrone Tyron and to accumulate more pay-per-view buys. However, through, again, Frankie NYC, who gets his information from Meltzer, UFC 228 did 130,000 pay-per-view buys. Now, just to give you a kind of a figure of where to place that, a low pay-per-view number for UFC for their pay-per-view events is 200,000. That's on the low spectrum. That's a low kind of event for them. So 130, it's 70,000 lower than the lowest point. It isn't the worst pay-per-view, but it is one of the worst ones, and there could be multiple reasons why that specific pay-per-view didn't do too well, right? Like Darren Till, maybe, the UK don't pay for pay-per-view. Maybe he wasn't that big of a name. Tyron Woodley, we know he isn't a pay-per-view draw. He's not really the UFC's favorite either. The rest of the card, whatever the reason may be, that's not what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about specifically if UFC should continue their pay-per-views, and if so, how should they continue it. What we're going to talk about is how the UFC presents their pay-per-views. So the UFC has continued to create pay-per-view events. They try to aim for one a month, which equals to about 12 a year. But of course, they have their other events. They have their fight nights, ESPN now, formerly known as Fox Fight Nights, and whatever it may be, right? We have Dana White's Contender Series, The Ultimate Fighter. There's enough content from the UFC organization to really fill our needs as consumers. But what the problem with UFC currently, and why that is a direct connection to the poor pay-per-view results, is because the UFC has aged and its target audience has aged as well. Now, if we look at a analysis done by Sports Business Journal back in June, they did research and they found what the median ages of UFC fans watching on television. And the median is 49 years old. that, not offending any 49 or 50-year-old, that's old. That is very old. At that point in anybody's life, they're already established. They're making a good income. They've supported themselves, potentially started a family. They know themselves very well. They know their ins and outs. And there's nothing wrong with having 50-year-olds as audiences. The issue comes when your median age is 50 years old, which basically means that the older people, so 50 plus, heavily outweigh the number of 40 and lower, which includes the 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and the 19, 18-year-olds. Well, maybe you can say, well, why does this matter? Why? Maybe that was always the median age. Well, it wasn't, because the same research done by the same people, Sports Business Journal, actually published the median age of UFC in 2006, and it was 34, which isn't even a bad number. 34 is significantly younger than 49, and what that means is we have a gap of 12 years, right? 2006 to 2018, that's a gap of 12 years. If you add 12 to 34, you get 46, which is roughly in the ballpark of 49. That's the issue. The issue is that the target audience of the UFC, the sports fans, are aging with the sport, not the sport is aging while attracting younger audiences. And that is what's killing the sport and resulting in these poor numbers more consistently and at a more frequent rate. Currently, the kind of owners or the big target that a lot of big companies are advertising for, the millennials, and these are the 18-year-olds to 25-year-olds, and don't forget about 25 to 35-year-olds. Those are all people in that age where they have are accumulating income, are able to spend it, and therefore, if you're spending money on pay-per-views, that's what the UFC wants you. They want to attract the younger audiences, the people exactly who are becoming adults and have more free range of their own money. But that's not happening, as I previously said. And why is that? Why is the UFC not able to attract the younger audiences? Is the sport too barbaric? Is the sport too violent? And to my answer, I don't think that is, because with the age of the internet, any sort of violence is easily accessible to anybody who finds it. And if you also look at World Star Hip Hop, a very popular hip hop based website on the internet, some of their biggest views are on videos that they call the compilation knockouts, which is just a weekly episode that World Star Hip Hop accumulates with street fighting videos. And these are more brutal, more barbaric than any UFC regulated match, where there's a referee who can stop, there's boxing gloves, there's not concrete floor for your head to hit off of. But this is bare knuckle street fight where people are getting viciously knocked out, and you can see the aftermath effects for these people who aren't used to getting hit in the head. So it's not that. So what is it then? Well, it's the presentation of the pay-per-view itself. And I will get to the point of if the UFC should continue to pay-per-views. I personally think they should not. I think that's obvious. I think both Bellator and UFC need to hop on board for the more streaming aspect of the deal and try to find some sort of way to accumulate as much income while paying their fighters, also while not resorting and not relying heavily on the pay-per-views. The UFC needs better production, they need better announcers, and more importantly, they need more social media tie-ins. And by that, John Anik and Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, Dominic Cruz, whoever they may have, even Dan Hardy, they're good commentators. And I think actually from the ones I mentioned, the only ones that really fit the criteria in attracting a younger audience would be Dan Hardy, because he's such a statistical nerd at this point. He can describe things in the setting of a UFC match with precision and give background as to what the fighter is thinking when he's throwing that fist or kick, but it does in a more modern way. John Anik is kind of just regurgitating things. He's almost an invisible component in the mix. Joe Rogan's a legacy. He's a Hall of Famer, and his commentating is top notch. But Joe Rogan is 50 years old. He doesn't have that many more years left in the UFC, and the UFC need to invest into someone who is as captivating as Rogan to push on with their production. I think a good move was getting rid of Goldberg. I think that was visibly seen at Bellator when he was interviewing poor Freddie Roach. That wasn't, he was straight in his face, and it was just an awkward situation for everybody. And another aspect is they need more ties with social media, especially with Instagram. Now that we've seen Instagram being such a good marketing tool, a good business tool, a good tool for advertising. We see it on Conor McGregor's personal Instagram page with 26.2 million followers. He's able to advertise different companies that offer different services or products so easily, and only one-time clip, and he's generating revenue, and it's generating what the product and what the advertisers want from that. The UFC's Instagram page has barely changed. They still rely heavily on Facebook Live, for crying out loud. They just post a picture of the poster with potentially matches, and then they have somebody who's not even from the main card take over Facebook Live for a Q&A session, which is in itself, it was a nice feature back in the day, but now it's kind of stale, and nobody really wants to ask questions if they're not a journalist to some fighter who's not even a main card. So that is something they need to do, and the presentation of itself hasn't changed in so many years. If you look at a pay-per-view, they may have changed the music, they may have changed the intro, they may have done small snippets, but the flow of it and the order of operation has strikingly been the same. They haven't added any new lights, they haven't, changed any sort of entrance, they haven't changed how the pay-per-view flows from the beginning to the hype introduction to the hardcore music playing to clips of highlights, and and to really do that last push and building up the hype for the pay-per-view or the main event. That's all the same, and that's not really capturing the younger audience. Now, I made a video about this previously, and it got a lot of controversy. I can see why, and a lot of people, they said that, you're not knowledgeable MMA because of it. What do you know? And it took me just 2 minutes to track back all these people saying all these mean things to me and see that these guys have been around. They are the older generation of the UFC that's aging with the UFC. And that topic that I brought up earlier, it's Logan Paul fighting in the UFC. That got a ton of heat. The video is posted in the link below, by the way, if you want to watch that first. But it wasn't merited because everyone was saying the CM Punk experiment failed. You can't just bring a nobody into the UFC. You're such a fanboy. 10-year-old can't buy pay-per-views. I'm going to leave this, really nice, really short. Logan Paul is a name with 16 million followers on Instagram and YouTube. He is a person that has credibility in boxing and wrestling, although not at a high level. He is an amateur all-state 4th place finisher in Ohio State of Wrestling. He fought in an amateur bout with KSI, a fellow YouTuber. That pay-per-view was able to draw 850,000 purchases, although at $10, I don't think if they increase the price that number would drastically fall. I will admit there would be a decrease, but I don't think it would be drastic because I think the names of KSI and Logan Paul both add enough value to watch them fight. And it's different, we don't want to watch them play soccer. We don't want them to, have a game of basketball. That's a YouTube clip. That could be a YouTube live. No one's going to purchase that. But a match such as boxing or MMA where you see competition, there is that element of violence. That is what will get people to pay. And so where I'm going with this, and we're going to tie all this in, is UFC should actually invest in bringing people with big names, celebrities, into their octagon to attract a younger audience. And that is a fact. And if you disagree with it, then you will see that the UFC is aging with you. You are not helping the UFC's pay-per-views. You may buy the pay-per-view. You may be, a patriot, a pioneer, whatever. But the money and the investment is into the future. And if you can't see that, then you're not part of the solution to the problem, which is the decreased number in pay-per-view purchases. And before I finish this segment up, I just want to add one more thing, which kind of goes back to the social media. UFC has done almost zero effort to instill more social media into them, and they've missed a boat on the releases of these social media, such as YouTube in 2005, Netflix, Snapchat, Twitch. They all have accounts on most of these social medias, but they have done nothing in terms of providing content to these platforms in particular to attract the younger audience that is a part of that platform. They have, the Amazon deal, but that's only that you can watch Amazon UFC fight through Amazon. And Amazon isn't even a social media platform. It's a platform to purchase goods. What the UFC needs to do is advertise heavily. Their chief marketing officer, their planners need to invest heavily into streaming services such as YouTube or Netflix, whether that be for Dana White's Contender Series or whether that be for week-old pay-per-view clips, highlights, or replays. They need to invest in that. They also need to invest in more engagement through Snapchat, Twitch, and Instagram by doing contests, doing follower interactions where if you like this post, comment this, and like this, you can win tickets or meet your favorite fighter, or we send you a pair of gloves, or even draws, anything like that through social media, which engages the younger audience. Then they will find success, because what you're seeing now is pay-per-view buy for the olders that's not attracting younger people, and then they have a social media model that's attracting older people, but older people aren't on social media. So the UFC really need to find that balance at this point, and they really need to re-emerge as the company or the sport that's advertising to 18 to 34-year-olds and not to 50-year-olds and older, for the sake of the UFC and for the sake of keeping it afloat.